Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to walk you through a step-by-step process on how you can build a USSD based application that allows you to access a catalog of services ranging from airtime purchase, access of credit services, and also payment of your utility bills. So just to give you a clear picture of what we're going to build today, I'm going to run you through the demo. So over here in my Africa stocking simulator, I'm going to run my service code. And then you can see that we do have that service code that I had initially registered. So click on that. Then you can see the catalog of services that you have: airtime purchase, data deals, insurance services, and also payment of the utility bills. So I'm going to go with the first option, that is airtime purchase. And then you can enter the amount that you wish to spend. So I'm going to go with 10. Click send. As you can see, the STK push is here in my phone. So I'm just going to enter my PIN to be able to complete the purchase of the airtime. Okay, so once the purchase has been complete, airtime will be sent to my phone number. Yeah, so you can see that I have successfully recharged airtime to my phone number here once the M-Pesa has been confirmed. So that is what we're going to build today. It's not only for buying airtime, but you can access a catalog of services here, just like I showed you. You can buy airtime for your phone number. You can also send airtime to another number. So if I were to choose option 2, you can enter the phone number that you wish to send the airtime to. Right, then you will be prompted to enter the amount and just enter your PIN, just like we did. Going to be our course for today. We're going to learn how to set up everything from the Africa stocking API keys. And also for the airtime, we are going to use a service that is called Startum. So Startum offers you with an airtime API that allows you to purchase airtime. Then for the USSD, we are going to be using Africa stocking to be able to set up our simulator. So if you're looking forward to build something like this that allows you to purchase airtime, to send airtime, and also to access services such as insurance and also loan services in your application, then this is the tutorial for you. So grab some cup of coffee and let's code along. Okay, so this is my Django project. As you can see, I have applications here as well as the projects. It's called QuickTop, just made a typo here. Then we do have applications from USSD, payments, airtime, and accounts. So that is it for the applications. We also do have the requirements. All you need for this project to run is that you need to install Django itself. You need Redis because we are going to be working with background tasks to be able to perform the airtime purchase and also writing and querying the DB in the background. Another thing that you need is that you need to have Redis installed and set up in your local machine. So as you can see, I do have my Redis and my Celery running here. I do have one task that is for airtime recharge task. This will enable me to perform airtime recharge in the background. That is good for USSD to avoid timeouts. And then we also have my Django server running locally. And then lastly, the next thing that you need to have is that you need to have like something like Cloudflare tunnels or maybe ngrok running, because Africa's stockings requires a callback URL. The results are going to be posted. So if you come here in my Africa stocking sandbox dashboard, you can see that I have my dashboard, my service code, as well as the callback URL, which needs to be a publicly accessible URL. So you can't use localhost here. You need to have a public URL that can be something like Cloudflare tunnels as well as ngrok. So if you're not sure on how to configure Cloudflare tunnels, I do have a tutorial on this channel that walks you through how you can set up a custom domain and tunnel it to your local machine so that you can use it in your local projects here before you can go to production. So that is it for the requirement. Now let's go ahead and walk you through how you can set up your projects. So inside my application, we do have apps here, just like I mentioned, but the one that you're going to zoom in is the USSD application. This is where most of the code is going to be in. We also do have a payments application. This is responsible for just the models. As you can see, we do have the transaction. This is what is going to save the M-Pesa transaction that you do make. We have the phone number of the person who is making that request, the amount that is going to be sent, the checkout request ID. These are important because you are going to use them to query the transaction using the M-Pesa Query API. For every request, we do have a session ID that is for Africa's talking, the status of the airtime. By default, this transaction is going to be saved with a status of pending, and then once we've queried it using the M-Pesa Query API, once it's successful, then we're just going to change it to success. That is going to be done in our services. Then we do also have the airtime request ID, the transaction type, that is Airtime Purchase for all of the transactions. And then you also have the timestamps here that is created and updated. So that's it for our models. Or we also have the utils.py. We just have an M-Pesa helper here that is going to format our phone numbers with the right formats. So remember, when you're working with M-Pesa, the format needs to be 254, not plus 254 or 07 or 01. So that's why we have this helper class here, helper function, to be able to format the phone number in the right format. In this case, it's 4254 to be able to make the STK push, as well as the Airtime API also needs the phone number to be in the 254 format. So that's really important. That's the utils.py. In the payment app, we do have a services layer. So I do prefer working with services instead of jamming everything inside my views.py. So services is just a way to offload some of the tags from your view to a services layer that keeps your views leaner and also makes your code more readable. So let's explore the services layer inside our payments application. So what we have here is an M-Pesa service. This is going to be the service that is going to handle all the functions related to M-Pesa, that is from authentication, authorization, and also request for the access token. So we do have an M-Pesa service class. We have the init functions where we just imported the keys. And by there, remember to set up the keys inside your env file and then just import them inside your settings.py. So we do have the M-Pesa consumer key and also the M-Pesa secret key. These are required for authentication and authorization. When you're going to create an access token, you are required to have these keys. So just go to your Daraja portal and then set up the keys, put them inside your env file, and then import them inside your services and settings.py. So we also have a passkey that is required for an STK push, the callback URL, and also the base URL over here. So the first func inside our service is that we do have the get access token. This is just for retrieving and creating the access token. Then at the next one, we have the STK push. So we are going to use this one in our USSD views to initiate the STK push to enable the users to pay for the services. So STK push is really important. Make sure that you import the base URL and then just add version 1 process request. So that's really important. We are also setting the password here, and also the headers. We just set authorization, we pass in the token, and then lastly we just send the payload. That is going to be the business shortcode. Remember to pick this one from the sandbox. If you're going to production, make sure you change it with your pay bill or till number, passing the password, the timestamp, the transaction type, and also the amount. These are going to be dynamic. We are going to retrieve them from the USSD menu as the user keys in. So if it's the amount, it's going to be dynamic. If the user enters 5, 10, 20, 50. Same to phone number. Shortcode is going to be static. We're just going to have one shortcode, and then the phone number is going to be dynamic. Make sure you set up your callback URL. That's why we set up our Cloudflare tunnels to make this one publicly accessible. If you look at my dashboard here in Africa Stocking, you can see that this is the callback URL. So this is where the results are going to be posted to you. So that is our callback URL, and also the reference for this case is just going to be the reference or the phone number that is going to be topped up. So remember to add that reference as well as the transaction description. So that's it for our STK push func, and then the last func is just the one that is going to be responsible for querying the transactions. So yeah, that is it for our M-Pesa service and the payments app. We don't have anything inside our Airtime app just yet, as well as the accounts. We'll be able to add some logic inside the Airtime and accounts application in a later video. This was just to show you how to work with them, and also you can check that I do have an env.dev for my dev workflow. Okay, the home, the payments, we've talked about that. Now let's also look at the settings.py. I say that we need two things over here. We need Celery and we also need Redis. So you just need to have Redis running in your local machine. But for Celery, you have to run the Celery command to be able to get Celery running. So if you come to my terminal here, you can definitely see that I've run a command that is called Celery/a, followed by the name of the project, the work, and also the log level that you want. So you can set log level to info. That will only show you info logs. Then you can see the tasks here. This will show you the number of tasks that you have. So in this case, you have a task that is called recharge airtime, and you're definitely going to see logs. If it's successful, you can see from my log. So you need to have Celery running. So I'm going to show you how to configure Celery in your application, but the first step is to get it running and get it installed. So I'm going to leave the code into the description so that you can just copy the requirements from my requirements.txt and configure everything. So that's it for the task. Let's go ahead and explore how to configure our celery.py file. So all you need to do is to import Celery once you have installed it, and then just set the environment to be Django.settings module followed by the quicktop.settings. We initialize our app. We just passing the name of our project, that is quicktop. I made a typo here when creating it, so it should be quicktop. And then we just set auto discover task to be true. So this will automatically discover any task within the application. As you can see, my task here has been automatically been discovered without having to manually register it. So that is really handy when you're working with a project that is going to involve multiple tasks. So that's it for the Celery settings. Then we also need to do a few configurations inside our settings.py. Let's scroll all the way to the top and see what's going on. We were just setting up our environment variable. We are importing the secret key. It's a good practice to put it inside the env. Set debug to true for dev. That's something that is routine. Allowed hosts, we need to pass in our custom Cloudflare tunnel here that we've set up for the domain. And then inside our install apps, we just pass in the USSD, airtime, accounts, and payments. Now, the most important section here that you need to configure is the database you need. We are using NeonDB for this one. NeonDB is just a managed database that saves you the hassle of creating and setting up your own database. So if you're not sure how to do that, again, I do have a video here on the channel how to set up NeonDB and how to work on it with the Django. You also need the Postgres adapter installed, so make sure you do that before you work with the database configuration with Postgres. So here's the most important part, that is how to set up Celery. You need the Redis URL. That is how they are going to communicate with the Celery. So this is Redis URL. We also need the Celery broker URL. That is going to be the Redis URL, as well as the Celery result backend, as well as these configurations for Celery. The content type is just JSON. Set your time zone to the nearest country, to the nearest city or country that you are in. For my case, it's Africa, Nairobi. Then the Celery, it expires in that time. So that's the requirements. Those are the configs that you need for your Celery application to work. So that's it for our config for the settings and the project. Now let's go to the main application and explore our USSD app. This is now the core of the application. This is what is going to power our USSD to run, as well as the Airtime Purchase. So let's open it and see. So as you can see, we're going to look at the three main files, that is the views.py, utils, services. Like I told you, I like working with services. That just saves me the complexity of views, especially when your view starts to grow, things start to get more complex. Services layer is the way to go. That's how I like it. And then we also have a folder here for tasks. So I told you we're going to have a task for recharging airtime, so I like to organize them in a task handlers folder. So if I have multiple tasks, I can just create more modules here in my folder. First of all, let's explore the utils folder. So I do have two main files here that we want to explore. The first one is our registration.py. So registration.py, just like the one in my payments application, registration is going to normalize our phone. It's going to strip out any white space. It's going to strip out any symbols like plus, and it's going to return a number that is nicely formatted starting with 254. So we're also adding some try except blocks here to just throw a value error if the phone number doesn't start in this format. So really handy, because the APIs strictly needs numbers that are starting with 254, and you're not sure if all the users are going to key in their phone numbers with 07 or 254. So you need to take care of that for your application to work seamlessly. That's the only thing that we have in our registration.py. Another thing that I do have is constants. Really important to have constants here. So what constants is going to help you with is for the USSD menu. So you've seen it in a USSD application. When you dial a menu, it's going to give you an option. For in this case, our menu that's going to welcome you when you dial the service code is going to be main menu with all these options from number 1 to 3. For this should be 5. I messed up the numbering here. This should be 6. You need to have 7, and then for the exit is 8. Okay, so instead of just manually hard coding this one here, right? Instead of manually hard coding the welcome menu in your views.py, so I do have everything set up in my constants.py. Then we're just going to import them inside our services. So that's really handy if you want to keep your services and views clean. The buy airtime is going to be the option for the user when it's selected an option to buy airtime. And also we also have a minimum alert. So I've set the minimum airtime purchase amount to be 5 shillings. So anything less than 5, we are going to get this minimum airtime alert. And then this one is for sending airtime. Whenever a user selected send airtime option, we are going to prompt him to enter this phone number. So we're going to pick this constant over here. Then another handy constants here are the exit, that is for exiting, option 6, and also for invalid option, some people might add letters instead of numbers, so that's considered an invalid option. So that's it for our constant.py. The last thing that maybe you want to have a look at is the API itself. So Startum, I told you, is the API that you're going to use to be able to buy and send airtime. So we need to set those API URL as well as the consumer key. So views.py, this is our entry point. Whenever the results are going to be posted back, this is going to be our view. As you can see from the URLs, we do have the path that is going to be taking the USSD. So this is really important. This is the main view, and then once the main view has received the request, it will just pass them to the respective services. For instance, let's look at this one. We are just extracting the session ID from the USSD callback, the session ID, the phone number, as well as the text. Then we are splitting the text with an asterisk, because remember USSD sessions are divided by an asterisk. Okay, here we're just normalizing the phone number. We are instantiating the service. Since it's not a static method, we have to instantiate it. So airtime service is equal to the airtime service that you saw inside our services.py. Okay, so let's look at the first one. If text is equal to blank, so which means this is the first time the user dials the USSD code. There has been no text that is selected. We're just going to return the main menu, and you can see the main menu from our constant here. It's this menu here that is going to welcome the user and display this catalog of services that he can choose from. So that's going to be our USSD entry point. So the next part is going to be else if the text part's 0, so the index of 0 is equal to 1. Okay, so we're just going to select the buy airtime service. So you saw in this one, send airtime. So that's going to be dynamic. We also have other options such as save numbers. So save numbers is going to be saving each and every number that the user saves airtime to. So in their next time, if they want to send airtime to another person, they can be able to see them in the save numbers. We also have checkpoints for checking points. This is important. You can redeem points. You can also exit, and we also have that invalid option. So that's it for our views. It's lean. Everything is going to be managed in the services layer, which we are exploring in there. So that was our views and utils. Now let's look at the services. We do have all the services: the data service for purchase of data, for insurance services if somebody wants to access an insurance service, and also utility service for paying things such as your internet bills and also your electricity bills. You have that option there, but the focus here is going to be airtime service. So let's zoom in on that. Okay, so I'm just going to open that. So we do have options here. The first step is to ask for the amount. So we're just checking if the length of the part is equal to 1, then you are going to display that buy airtime menu. All right, that is going to be the first step. In our second step, after the user has entered the amount, we are going to trigger an STK push. So instead of having the M-Pesa service inside here, we are just importing it. As you can see, we have imported it in our init method. Then we just instantiate it to the M-Pesa service. Then here, this is where we trigger the M-Pesa STK push. So we just say STK response is equal to self.mpesa STK push. So this is the method that we had in our M-Pesa service. If you can remember, we just passing the phone, the amount, as well as the reference. So the reference is going to be the phone number of that user. Another important thing is to just extract the checkout request ID and also the merchant request ID. So if not checkout request ID, we're just going to throw an error. The checkout request ID is going to be important, so we need to just make sure that it's there. And now here comes the task. Right, recharge airtime task.delay. So the reason why I have this task here is to just be able to keep our views and USSD running, because in USSD the timeout sometimes is limited. So if you have complex queries inside your USSD session, the USSD might break. So it's a good practice to keep such tasks in the background. So just purchase airtime and let Celery and Redis take care of everything in the background. That's why I have this task here. Most of the time, if you have complex queries in your USSD session, the project is going to break, or the application might break, and that might not be a good user experience. So always remember to put the USSD queries, for example, updating of database, sending of airtime, all those APIs and services should be running in a task, not in the main view. So that's important to note. So we're just recharging the airtime. Again, we are passing the phone number, amount, checkout request ID. These are going to be used for querying the status of the transaction using the M-Pesa Query API. So we have the recharge airtime task. We just import our model because we're going to save the model first thing whenever the user has requested that. Then we are going to update it later based on the result of the M-Pesa Query API. So you can see that M-Pesa query transaction, then we just pass in the checkout request ID. So status is equal to result.get the status. We want to get the status of this request ID that was passed. So if it's success, then we're just going to say payment confirm. We only send airtime once the status is success. That is where this query transaction status is really important. Once again, this is from our M-Pesa service, so we are just invoking it here using M-Pesa query transaction status, that method that we defined in our payments service. So if status is success, which means the transaction has been confirmed to be successful, what are we going to do here? We're just going to update our model to be success. Remember here at the top, we just created it with a pending transaction, but after a successful transaction, we update the status to success. You can be able to see that our last transaction was successful, and you can also manage the transactions from here. You can view it. You can see all the request ID, right? The status is now successful. You can delete them if you want to. This is just for demo, but for a real world application, I will come up with a nice custom dashboard for this one to manage everything with some analytics and how to export maybe the reports and everything. So let's go ahead and test our send airtime feature in our USSD menu. So I'm just going to run my service code, and then I'm going to say send airtime for this step. The phone number is going to be my other phone number here, so 07 10 for now. And now I will receive an STK push in my phone number. So yes, I have keyed in my PIN, and you can see the transaction has been successful. It has been sent to that phone number. All right. Yeah, that has been successful. So yeah, you can see that the transaction has been successful. So that is going to do it for our today's course on how to work with USSD application, how to work with an Airtime API, and also how to set up and configure your Django project. So that was it for the technical side of it. Now let's discuss the business side of the project. So the first thing is to understand the costs. Of course, when working with the USSD, one of the biggest challenges is to be able to acquire the USSD service codes. That is one of the biggest obstacles when you want to venture into this type of business. The service codes, the pricing sometimes are relatively high, especially the dedicated USSD codes. If you are to look at the Africa stocking pricing here, the USSD pricing for service codes, especially when you're just getting started, can be quite expensive. If you look at the service code with one channel, it's 40,000 per month. Now that's quite some amount when you're just starting out. So the one that I think you can start out with is like a shared service code, and once your customer base builds, you can upgrade to a service code that has just one channel. For now, just get started with the 4-channel shared service code, or if you have the cash, you can just go with the dedicated service code, and you can see how the monthly maintenance cost can rocket for dedicated service codes. So that is it. The first thing that you need to understand is the costs. So once you've understood the costs, you can now come back and make some informed decisions. So when you want to build an application like this, of course, you can't just use it for airtime purchase. As you can see, that you want to be able to manage the monthly costs and come up with a profit, or you're going to really have really thin profit margins. So that's why you can partner with insurance companies. You can partner with your internet service or service provider companies. For example, we have Zuku Fiber. You can partner with the insurance services. You can partner with your local microfinance institution. So you can just walk up to them like, okay, I can add you to my USSD service. I can market it. And for every sign up that I get from the USSD, you are going to earn a commission from that. And that is what I see a lot of people normally do when it comes to USSD services. You just add it as the primary function is for buying and selling airtimes and data, and then you add other add-ons inside your catalog. In this case, I'm working for a client and they do have options to partner with other insurance companies, and also they are working on to add some microfinance institutions here locally, so that for every sign up or every loan application that they do make, they earn a commission. And also for the airtime, you can negotiate these deals with people like Africa Stocking or Statam. So to also keep your users customer loyalty, you can add some points here to keep them using your service, because remember, you are going to be competing with telco giants. Customer loyalty, you can add points here. You can also have data deals as just the same way as you did have airtime. So that is it for the business side of it. Just remember to know the costs, and also how are you going to manage the monthly costs, one thing that you need to consider. So that is it for our USSD project. If you have any questions regarding this project, or if you want any assistance or maybe designing and launching your first USSD project, it's a survey-based USSD project or an event ticketing, then be sure to contact me if you want any advice regarding USSD and M-Pesa based systems. So that is going to do it for our today's video. As always, if you find value in this channel, consider liking the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and also share it with other like-minded people. Not only do you help the channel grow, but you also help the video to reach a wider audience. So that's it for today, and see you in the next one.